Hello. I'm just waiting for my tea to cool down, so. I believe it is, what was it again? Raspberry? Yeah, raspberry tea. I think, at least. Or was it cherry? I think it's cherry, actually. Hello. How's everybody doing today? Or at least the 15 people that appear to be here now. I'm on Team Bloom this time, ironically, despite usually very much being in the position of choosing the edgier side. But considering that every time I choose the edgy side I lose, so I thought this year it should be different, you know? And I am so ready to lose again. Hmm. If I'm too quiet, do let me know. I can try and up the volume a little bit. Does this maybe work a little bit better? I'm sorry for those who had the stream already pretty loud. But it's, I think, as far as I can go right now. Do take care, Enigma. I am just watching my cat walk over the desk right now because, of course, now is the time where she wakes up. I don't know if I can have a stream for the full 3 hours because it is midnight for me, but I'll find out, I hope. Hello, Matabi, or Matabi. I'm just spitballing, but hello. Yeah, I thought I'd mix up the streaming time a little bit to allow some other people to drop in. It is very funny to watch the subtitles pop up on the stream by the side and be completely incorrect. Greetings. More people joining now, alright. I do recall looking into the statistics of my channel and coming to the very sudden realization that a huge majority of followers are apparently from America. I don't know how accurate it is, or if just it's very preferable for anonymous accounts to choose America as their location of origin, but hello. If for whatever reason the stream suddenly without heads up goes down, it'll only be down for like, I think, maybe a few seconds or 2 or 3 minutes. Also thank you, Emily. I like to think I'm rushing things a little bit, but I'm glad it works for other people. Hello, cat. I think I'm gonna have to let her out real quick. I can try and up the volume just a little bit more. I wouldn't know how to make it any, I can't. I sadly really don't know how to make it any louder than this. I apologize. I think it might be just something with the settings. I can go through them again. My cat was just climbing over my lap the whole time. Is it a little bit better now? Maybe. I'm afraid I can't, like, I wouldn't know how to change the settings any further. I can't. Never mind, guess she doesn't want out. But are these settings maybe a little bit better? I can't raise my voice too much more because it is a little bit late. Alright, I'm glad the audio seems to at least be decent. Hope it doesn't lead to any more issues. It looks like the steady number for now will be 24 people. 23, I'm comfortable with that. Maybe with a less active chat, I'll at least be able to keep up even though I'm a little bit quiet today. How has it been going for you? Has Artfight been a bit overwhelming? Uh, not so far. I'd like to think that I don't tend to pressure myself too much when it comes to the producing of art. It's it I think with prior art fight events, I've already kind of grown used to a lot of the things, and I think one of the few things that could actually cause me to grow overwhelmed is the realization of like, oh, damn, there are a lot of attacks happening, and I cannot like make a revenge to probably like 80% of them. Um, but other than that, I think art fight has just been not actually that stressful. I quite enjoy it. It's more so just a thing of balancing for yourself how much you wish to give into this project and how much you expect from yourself as well. it's very easy to get overwhelmed if you tend to spend a lot of time thinking about what others might expect of you. But it doesn't really help to think like that. I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to word it in a way where it makes sense, but I feel like I'm failing a little bit at that. Um, but no, Artfight so far has been rather enjoyable for me, actually. Even though I've set out the past 2 days a little bit with like maybe one attack a day, which isn't necessarily what I demand of myself, but I at least wanted to have a strong start before I possibly go. Like, I'll probably go back to more commission work toward the end of the month, so. Are you drawing human for Artfight? I don't think I've drawn any humans yet. I think I've drawn some last year, but I could be remembering wrong. I don't mind trying myself on humans, but admittedly, I will prioritize feral characters because I spend a lot less time refining them as a as a reference. Like feral characters are and furry characters are a lot easier for me to draw, but that doesn't mean that I won't at least maybe attempt myself at one or two humans, maybe. Or who knows, maybe even more. I think I've drawn one more humanoid character at least, although they still had like a slightly animal nose, but the face shape and the body anatomy was majorly, for a majority at least, very humanoid. Were you hoping to get some humanoid characters drawn? Hmm. I mean, I could absolutely see myself at least doing headshots for humanoids. It's the full bodies that can get a little bit overwhelming, I think. I find the way you make big cats very interesting. I admittedly continuously find myself drawing, like, especially big cats in a very small cat way, purely because I base a lot of the way that I draw cats on my own cat, and a lot of the, like, in most cases the anatomy still applies, but you still have to upscale it, and I find myself mostly struggling to apply the weight of a larger creature when it comes to at least cats and stuff. But I'm glad you like it at least. Um, I definitely should be spending more time studying, but I'm getting around to it a little bit with every drawing. Hello, Raven. Let me think. I have definitely not forgotten how this muscle works. It's fine, nobody's gonna notice if I improvise it. Hello, Georgie. I will just presume I pronounced that correctly and move on. Do you plan to do more streams during Artfight? Really love watching you draw in real time. Thank you, first of all. Second of all, I do intend to make more streams for Artfight specifically. I can't promise anything because it very much depends on how motivated I feel, but so far it seems just, yeah, I still feel motivated, so for now I still intend on doing streams. Yeah, gonna have to see, but generally it looks like it's gonna be just fine. Kirsty, hi, are you using photo reference for the anatomy or drawing it from memory? I did look up some big cat pictures like halfway into the sketch and then just let it, like, I have a window of just a bunch of different cat pictures in the background. The original sketch itself I made without reference and then I refined with the help of references. That's some way that I at least like to approach, especially if I'm struggling to draw something. So that way I'm still, to an extent, pushing myself to rely on my own memory first before I try and get help. But yeah, no, I do have a Pinterest page open right now with just a bunch of leopards and tigers and stuff. I think I was looking at several leopards for this one. How long have you been on Artfight? Would you possibly recommend anything for the newer artists on there? Let me think. I don't know about recommending anything. I just say generally don't pressure yourself. You're not helping yourself by expecting a certain performance from yourself. Also, don't compare your art to other people. Like I've had several friends who expressed to me that they were unsure about joining Artfight because they think they're not good enough. It's a Artfight all around is a really good way for both like professional and newer artists to connect with one another, and I'm telling you right now with the confidence of a person who would at least fall into the category of a professional artist since I do get paid. Nobody is going to think of you as lesser just because your art skill is a little bit lower. If anything, it's very endearing to see, especially artists who aren't very confident come out of their shell a little bit, show their artwork, get the like interactiveness. It's a very endearing feeling to get to share your art with other people. It's why I personally really loved, even when I was just starting out digital art, doing requests for other people and all of that stuff. Just, it allows you to engage with people, and you shouldn't undermine that just because you're self-conscious. I know it's hard to push through that sometimes, but especially for newer artists, just this is not a competition. Sure, it's an art fight, and technically there's a winning and a losing team, but for a majority of artists who partake in art fight, I don't think it's about winning or losing. I think everybody's just kind of having fun, and you're allowed to have fun too. You're allowed to draw characters and just especially interact with artists that you may otherwise not have the excuse to simply interact with. Like, both more professional and less professional artists. Just you get to interact with those people and get to share something with them, and I think that's really nice. And I don't think anybody should feel discouraged from participating with that just because they don't fully feel themselves used to this type of environment. Hey, I attacked you on Artfight and was wondering what you thought of the sketch, Delta Reich. Let me quickly check. Is your username the same on Artfight? Because I would not... No worries at all, Christy. Delta, would you mind telling me what your username is? I'll be happy to check out whatever you made and give you some feedback on it. Some trails. Alright, let me quickly... I'll just have to load up the website. It's a little bit slow at the moment. Alright, let me quickly see. It is from this year, yeah? I'm just quickly, I think I have to swap a page there. Thank you so much for these words, absolutely agree. Yeah, I very much enjoy Artfight purely because of that. Alright, some trails. Oh, I did see that one. Yeah, you drew Asfa. I very much love it. The very abstract vibes of just the black and white are very nice. You did very lovely on the anatomy, by the way. Little demon. Thank you for drawing her. Or rather them. It's fine either way. Let me quickly see. It looks like you did, yes. It takes a bit of courage to step out of your shell. Yeah, I like just the amount of people that I haven't like interacted with like a massive amount. I made it sound like it was just some massive amount of people, but even just for like even for more experienced artists, it's a really good way of just connecting with other people. Like for anybody really, you get to just chat up people even just on Twitter and be like, hey, what's your art fight? And it has that same kind of like as people grow older, they grow more skeptical and cautious of strangers and shit like that, but especially Artfight kind of reawakens that naive feel of, oh, let me draw you a C and then we can talk and chill and be friends maybe even. It's very cute. I think I actually met two people last year on Artfight, or rather talk more to those people who are still my friends today and hopefully continue to be in the future, I would hope, which is Ramarin and Drake and Worm. Both of them I started talking to more around Artfight, I think. And Artfight just made it a lot easier to connect with those people. How many attacks have you done so far? I think I've reached 8. This one would be my 9th. I had a good run on the first 2 days, making 2 on the first day and another, I think, 5 on the second. And on the third day I made 1 attack. And today I'm trying to at least get more, like this one, maybe 2, 3 in total. Maybe even a bit more if I feel like it. Do you have any tips in learning anatomy? Did you learn anatomy by breaking the body into shapes, or did you use another technique? I think I've tried a huge variety of different approaches, because there is not simply one way to learn something correctly, and I think that depending on how you think about art and how you feel about art, you might have a very specific way that you would prefer to learn it, and getting somebody else to tell you that this is the way is not always correct, I think. Personally, more recently, I think I found a lot of, something that really helped me a lot was, because I have a very vivid, what's the word for it? As in, I can have very detailed three-dimensional images in my head, which means that all I need, like, I like having a three-dimensional perspective of what I'm trying to draw, for which especially 3D models as references and videos can help a lot, because anatomy in photos I find is very stationary, and from people to photos, it's usually all meant to be its best. Like, a person will pose in a way that they think is their best pose in most photos, especially in like galleries like Pinterest. It's all about being pretty and aesthetic and beautiful. Meanwhile, at least videos tend to show the flaws a lot more naturally. Even just watching videos on athletes or dancers, and like even just especially interpretive dance can be very fun to study for the sake of like figuring out how you wish for something to feel. I think especially when it comes to anatomy, you can learn a huge variety of different tricks and tips, and it all in the end comes down to what do you feel like helped you the best. So I encourage you to try around and figure out what works for you in the end. Because I know, for example, with me trying to memorize things, or rather just looking at a video or image and then having it all in my head, doesn't work for some people. I don't know what it was called again, but some people struggle to, for example, visualize things in their head, so having references actively accessible might help them more. But other times they might want to stray away from that, try and train their mind to imagine things more vividly. Like, it all depends on how you want to approach it, really. I just feel bad for making people wait on revenges, you know? You shouldn't feel bad for that, because especially if you end up getting a lot of attacks, you can just, especially in Artfight, see it for now as a gift of a person who had a lot of fun drawing something for you. Whether or not they get something in response, it's more of the getting something in response is an exciting thing, yes, and people love it when they get revenges for their art, but that does not mean you owe it to them or that you should pressure yourself. And you should work at your own pace, and if your own pace is just doing like maybe 1 or 2 attacks for the month and calling it a day, then that's okay too, and you shouldn't feel bad for doing that, because it's all just about having fun, and if you're pushing your limits and exhausting yourself to try and satisfy every person that like interacts with you on Artfight, you're gonna have a really tough time enjoying it. Or at least so I think. What tricks did you use though? I don't know a lot of tips, thanks. Uh, I'd say photo study through the means of tracing can sometimes help. I haven't done too much of it. I think I've mostly gone to it over concept art more recently, especially personal art, because you're not going to post it anywhere and it's not going to be used for anything but personal art. Breaking down shapes can be good. I think personally I've just spent I the best way I can describe it is how I've described it before, which is that I spent just a lot of time looking at things that I wanted to draw and looking maybe at other people's styles and trying to introduce aspects that I liked about their style into my own. And a lot of my own art process came more so innately than anything, because I'm very self-taught. I've never went to an art school or anything, so I wouldn't know where to point you toward, but I'm sure there are plenty of artists out there who would know just what to tell you and, oh, listen to that professional technique that I have no idea what it's called, and then just point you toward that. I'm afraid I can't help much with especially art advice. Purely because I find myself struggling to explain a lot of the process as well as recall, because I've been just trying stuff out left and right and looking at something in an art piece and immediately going, okay, I'm gonna put that in my art now. I like that. I think, funny enough, I find myself a lot of the time putting something in my art and only months or even years later realizing what purpose that thing served. So I don't know. I love seeing people go wild over art they've got from Artfight. Just being able to tell it's made their days wicked. I agree, it's very, very sweet to see people excited over that stuff. Let me quickly. I myself struggle the most with adding details. Even if I manage out the general silhouette of the character, I can't make it look three-dimensional because the muscles seem to be missing. Especially with shading is very important when it comes to making a character feel three-dimensional. I do recall seeing a video only recently kind of breaking down how important it is to use especially soft shading when you want to make something three-dimensional, because something like cell shading it can make something feel very flat. Defining shapes through soft shading can just help a lot with making something stand out. There are plenty of really good tutorials and videos that could explain it all a lot better than me, with even visual examples, which tend to help a lot more for the learning process. So I encourage you to look those up and just, research to help yourself out. Still thanks. You're welcome. I hope at least some of my rambling at least proved itself vaguely helpful, but if not, I still wish you all the best. It's nice to join an art chat and stream like this, just to sit and talk about the hobby and passion the majority here enjoys. It is. I definitely should look into doing more streams at some point. I know I keep saying this to myself, but I think most of the time I just find myself too tired or just wanting to try out art without actually having to provide immediate results, which on a stream I found myself relatively productive on streams, which can be really good, but also I think I'm still afraid of that possibility of starting up a stream and sitting there for having that brain break of sitting in front of your canvas for an hour and then going, you know what, never mind, I don't want to draw. I haven't had it on streams, but I do feel like if a moment like that was to pop up, it would be very awkward to explain. So I'm trying to not push too much with art streams, at least to keep that kind of healthy limitation of when I feel confident in at least producing something. Cool tiger. Thank you, Walt. Drawing folds and shading clothes is so hard. I always wonder how people do that without pulling out references. Then again, probably experience. Yeah, no, if you pull references out for a while, eventually things will probably get easier. It's just art is just all about training your muscle memory to eventually memorize oh, to get this effect I need to move my hand in this way, and then things make sense. Honestly want to do more stuff for Artfight, but Monster Hunter and work are eating my life and energy. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you can in the art just, in the end, just participate minimal, in a minimal way if you want to. There's no pressure to immediately produce something massive or make a massive contribution to something. You can just enjoy an event like that at your own pace with your own limitations. Hate when that happens if I ever decide to stream. The total loss of thought, usually why I like to get a sketch down before I think about streaming. Yeah, for me it's a 50-50. I think I've started a lot of streams just already knowing what I'm doing. I can easily set myself to a very specific task, say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do Artfight attacks, so I'm just gonna browse characters. There's a certain rhythm that's easy to maintain, but if I were to sit down and say, alright, I'm gonna stream and just draw whatever I feel like drawing, I think I'd find myself at a little bit of a loss of what do I actually feel like drawing? Because sometimes I just don't know. And I think that's why I'm mostly happy to do streams around Artfight, because it's a lot easier to just go with the flow of something that I already know I'm going to be working on, because my brain doesn't question it as much. Hello, Mechanical Corvette. When I streamed for the first time, I panicked and started to draw stuff. Draw Buff Among Us. Yeah. Are you talking about the stream from recently? By the way, it's looking really good. Thank you. I'm getting a bit lost in the conversation, so I'm noticing myself, like, working a lot slower because I don't have, like, somebody telling me in the background what's happening in the chat, so I'm actually having to jump back and forth a little bit myself, but I should probably see about maybe not pushing myself too much to maintain that. If I want to get at least a moderate amount of things done. Should probably invest into another screen just so I can have, I actually have a second screen. I don't know why I should invest into another one, but could definitely, for future streams, possibly have the stream run on a second screen instead. The saber-tooth fangs are still there. They're just in the top. They're not colored. But since the perspective is kind of having the head a little bit down, I should probably make them a little bit longer though, because they are a lot longer than I depicted them. Here you go. If that helps to not worry about the absence of the teeth. On the shoulder are stripes instead of dots. There are, you are right. I am absolutely getting lost in conversation. Damn. Should at least focus on a task before I read through the chat again. Alright, my cat is coming back. Naturally. Come on. Here she goes. She's a little bit quiet, so you won't be able to hear any cat noises, but she is here now. Can you sit down at least if you want to sit here? Okay. Do you use default side brush for line art and sketch, or are there settings personalized? They are personalized a little bit. I can send you a stash link because I had the screenshot at brush settings saved from last stream. Let me go quickly grab them for you if you want. I have to lean over the... There we go. Here's brush settings for anybody who needs them. Well, I have to probably see about not startling my cat. Because now she's here. Go. What's your cat's name? Well, there are gonna be Russians in the chat, so they're gonna laugh at me, but her name is, Gojga. Which is poorly pronounced Russian for cat, because I was very creative when I got her. But I love her very dearly, even though I named her literally just Cat. Let me see. Now I have a cat hair on my hand. Good to know. Yes, it is the best name I could think of. I mean, hey, the cat I had before that, I literally named Millie after the Warrior Cats character, so excuse you. It's a lot better because at least most people that I in real life interact with do not know what the name means and instead just pronounce it even worse than me, so it's a win-win. Literally have a cat named Kitty. You see, that's superiority right there. That's a superior cat name. And she's back again. God damn it. Hi. What do you want? Alright, you cannot sit there right now. Yeah? She's trying to climb over my lap. Now she's getting tangled up. You can... Okay, no, she's not making it easy at all to deal with her right now, but hey. I do appreciate that a lot. It's a good cat name. The cat name was Guzga, aka literally just poorly pronounced Russian for cat. And it was very funny because I think my Russian friend, I think, very heavily mocked me for the pronunciation the moment that he found out. But hey, it's fine. It just means that he can pronounce my cat's name better than me. My parents named our dog Samuel L. Jackson. Oh boy. Some of my friends' relatives named dog Nora, I guess, but started to call her Ass. And she just forget her real name and thought, okay. Fantastic. You're erasing the shadows to apply the lightning or laying down another color. I am erasing shadow right now. And also, I'm probably gonna, just to get the shading done, gonna try and not look at the chat too much for a moment. If I want to get more attack than one done today, I'm afraid I'll have to at least keep to that a little bit. back. What do you think of neon-colored characters? Depends on the character, why they're neon-colored, or if they're just bashed together neon colors. Personally, not a big fan of intense colors. That's just a personal preference of mine. Even just in clothes, I prefer to have more grayish toned attire anyways. But, you know, I don't despise people that like intense color. It's fine, I guess, if you like to have neon-colored characters. Though I don't particularly enjoy drawing them myself. Or, well, I guess I don't. I can see the appeal, and again, it's very contextually dependent. I do think that there are neon characters out there that actually look very nice and are very nicely balanced, but it's not necessarily an artistic choice that I myself would make lightheartedly, if that is a good way of explaining. More so just stating that if it was up to me to give a character neon colors or refrain from doing so, I'd probably refrain. Personally, at least. Because I just like monotone colors a lot more. Hey, question. What was the site you used to make your giant mind map thing, your D&D campaign? Call it again. I believe it was bubble.us, bubbl.us. I believe you can have 3 mind maps there for free. I believe it was this, but I could be wrong. Let me double check. Yeah, it's still the same site. But yeah, I think you can have 3 mind maps at once for free, and if you were to want to have more than those, you'd have to get a membership, which I forgot how pricey it was, but I don't think it was too pricey per se. I personally just used the free version. The only issue with it is that the mind map at which scale I posted it had been starting to get laggy. The site doesn't necessarily support too massive of a mind map, I think. I don't know how it is with a membership, if that were to change it. But at least the free version is not capable of carrying infinite amount of thought bubbles, so you might want to take that into account if you do intend on using it for something larger. That mind map gave me so much pride as a DM. Why do you need them as a player? I just really like keeping track of especially information that is handed out like by the DM. I'm personally somebody who really enjoys solving puzzles, even if those, like, especially puzzles that aren't hand-fed to an individual. And I'd like to think that, at least in Penny's campaign, I got to put puzzle pieces together that weren't necessarily. Isn't it? I enjoy mystery, but most of all, I enjoy mystery that is optional to figure out. As in, I find a lot of mystery, especially genres, to kind of feed you exactly everything that you need and hold your hand like throughout the entire experience. Just like, and then you put the puzzle piece there because you know they really want you to figure it out, or even just blatantly give you the answer. But at least for the campaign that I made that mind map for, it did allow you to figure out a lot of it for yourself, which was a nice change of pace, I'd like to think. So the mind map was also me just really enjoying the process of figuring out the mysteries and trying to keep track of all of the little puzzle pieces that were handed out throughout the campaign. I still hold on to a lot of those pieces, but mostly in my head now because the mind map was a little bit buggy. How does one go about finding a D&D campaign online? I've been getting more and more interested in joining one, though I have very little knowledge on D&D. You could join a D&D Discord. There is one where you can just apply as a new player looking for a group, or you can even look at groups that are available and just chat up like the DMs that are offering them. Some of those games are not free to play, as in the DMs require a little bit of a fee, so if you're into that, that's very cool. You can have a campaign where you're literally paying the DM, which can be very fun to do as well. I'm sure those campaigns are probably a lot more professional. Or you can join just a random one. There are plenty of campaigns that are just hosted for free. You might not immediately find a campaign that is 100% the ideal game that you would like to play, because you're playing with random people. You're prone to running into some weird scenarios maybe at times, but who knows, maybe you get lucky. Maybe you find a group that you really enjoy playing around, and for a first experience, even just a small campaign that isn't necessarily too excessive can be a very nice way of getting introduced. So, I do wish you all the best if you end up looking through those sites at all. Otherwise, on Roll20, you can always look for a game there. They do offer regular, just a bunch of different games where you can Google your criteria, like look up your criteria. It isn't Googling, it would be looking it up, but generally would recommend looking for 5e campaigns. And yeah, just make sure to acknowledge, even if you join a random campaign, you're prone to running into some like in the hopefully unlikely scenario that you run into people that aren't necessarily ideal for you, or you're not comfortable playing around, or you feel a little bit weird in their presence. Don't pressure yourself to stick around. You should prioritize your comfort most of all, especially when playing D&D. So if you, for example, say manage to join a group through like a website or a Discord, just make sure to keep in mind that you have the right to feel comfortable at the table that you're playing at, and so does everybody else. So if you, for whatever reason, find a group that isn't quite yours, you're allowed to express that to the DM and just move on if that is something that you need to do. What's an art fight? Oh boy, I'm gonna hand that to other people to explain. I'm gonna be drawing. Actually I can try. Art fight is, imagine an art trade where just people are drawing stuff for each other, but it's a lot bigger, as in a shit ton of people are just drawing each other's characters and maybe getting a little bit of art in return. And it's a very fun event where you get to connect with other people. There are two teams that are opposing to each other in a friendly fight, so to say, where people get to draw the characters of the enemy team, or if they feel like it, even characters from their own team, although they earn less points. And depending on the quality of the artwork that you create, you add those points to the pool of your of the team that you're on, one of the two. And at the end of the month, for the event goes for the full month. At the end of the month, those points get counted, and there's a winner team. I don't know if the winning team earns anything from it. It's mostly just fun and games, and the main highlight of the event is mostly just people drawing each other's characters rather than the winning aspect of itself. But there's a team that can win nonetheless. And hey, maybe I'm the only one who doesn't think of it as a game that people have to win, but who am I to say? checking the chat again. Do you always revenge attack with full bodies, or is it more of a motivation thing, or how big do you want to draw the character, or maybe even just a matching up with the initial attack for the revenges? It's all a thing of how I'm feeling at the moment. Sometimes I try to match the quality of the attack that I got. Sometimes I do more or less. It's all very much how am I feeling right now. So there's no real way of predicting how I'm gonna attack in return if I attack in return. Alright, let me quickly prepare this. Because I got an attack to upload, the first one for tonight. Hopefully not the only one. Hey, looking good, Ock. Thank you, Rhea. Let me quickly prepare the upload. Well, I'm really glad that they did, like, simplify the character upload thing. Because it does make the uploading a lot easier to do by the side. Let me quickly see. It's just loading up the revengeable attack, and with that, got ourselves revenge. Amazing drawing. This turned out stunning. Thank you all. I'm glad I stuck with it. Almost caught myself growing a little bit tired at the end with it, but pushed through. Let me see which one I'll do next. Oh, I see. It's looking amazing. Thank you. I finished an attack today and sketched out a friendly fire attack against you. Really fell in love with your chase. Oh, I'm gonna go check it out. Give me a second. I'm just quickly uploading the attack by the side. I did see one from Forl Fraud. I wouldn't know how to pronounce that name. But, I think this would be yours, because I think that's the attack that I got today of Chase. Looks very lovely, if that was yours. Oh, okay. I was like, trying to look over it to see if you had uploaded it, but no, that's fair. I look forward to seeing it. Let me just look what I want to work on next. Let me see, I haven't done any... I've only done one remotely humanoid character. I could try myself on one, at least. Though I doubt I'll do a full body. Does this count as a human? Technically, the anatomy is a little more abstract, but yeah, it should count. Just in my opinion. Do you personally find humanoids easier to, or animal-based characters, ferals, to draw, I mean? Personally would definitely say I find animals easier to draw, but it does depend on the animal a lot. I've been drawing animals for a lot longer than humans, so comparably as a total thing, most animals are easier for me to draw than humans. I think I'm still struggling a lot with the uncanny valley type feel, where humans are very difficult to draw because you're trying to draw something that all of us know exactly how it's supposed to look. With animals, you kind of get away with a lot more because vague depictions don't necessarily feel weird to us. But I find humans a little harder to depict purely because there is such a certain sense of familiarity that you do need to get done. So at least human art tends to, in most cases, take me a lot longer than an animal. Sometimes it can take just the same amount of time, but in a lot of cases I'll find myself just constantly fixing up a human face. I'm gonna quickly open the window because it is getting rather warm in the room, and I think the tea didn't help. Hi, cat. I'll be right back. There we go. Watch me get shanked by mosquitoes. I'd love to draw a werecat character. She looks moi. I mean, I'm managing myself relatively well. I haven't found myself pressured at all, so if you're worrying for my sake, I'm doing really well. If I wasn't okay with getting a ton of attacks, I think I probably wouldn't be streaming, because I know that would probably not be the smartest maneuver if you're trying to kind of be sneaky about participating in Artfight. So, no worries at all there. How long do you plan on streaming today? Not sure if I'll be streaming for as long as yesterday. Purely because I don't know if I have the energy for it. It is like currently 1:30 a.m. So I'm just trying to get at least like 2 attacks out of the way. If I still have some energy, maybe get a third in after this one. But today is a little bit of a lower energy type art day. Rhea is upset with all of us now. God damn it. Whatever shall she do? By the way, what do you think of friendly fire? Because I was wanting to attack you, but couldn't join Artfight before this year, and it turned out I'm also in Bloom. I don't mind friendly fire at all. I've, done revenges for friendly fire before, in case that is something that you were worried about, but I have no issue with friendly fire. I do believe I specify it actually on my Artfight page. I will say I'm a little bit less likely to make revenges on friendly fire, purely because I intend on actually getting some points in because my battle ratio is so bad. It is really hard to keep up with people. Do you prefer drawing animals or humans, and which is easier to you? I answered before that I find it a lot easier to draw animalistic characters. So animals are easier for me to draw. That doesn't mean that I won't possibly draw a human, but I still prefer drawing animals at the moment. It's very much my comfort zone versus something that I've tried to get better at, so we'll have to see. Other question, there was another one. Do you ever feel like getting impatient with your art? Do you ever feel impatient with your art and want to rush it? I think I do. Not necessarily in the sense of wanting to get it done as soon as possible, but more so if I'm feeling like like impatience for me is usually a result of me not enjoying the artwork that I'm working on, and if I feel that sense of impatience, usually the best thing for me is to step back and get back to it at a later point, because especially if it's like a commission piece that I'm not particularly enjoying or something like that, it's good to go back and forth and find something you enjoy about it rather than to rush it. Because if you rush it, you're gonna just continue to refine something that you aren't happy with. And if we're not talking about commission work, where altogether you shouldn't try and make something that, like, you shouldn't try to rush commission work, especially. If we're not talking about commission work purely on the personal basis, you're not gonna feel happy with an artwork that you forced yourself to complete, even though you did not like have the patience for the process. I myself like to work very fast, so I tend to finish a lot of my artworks within like an hour or two maximum, as in I don't want to spend more time than that on especially personal pieces. I of course spend longer on commission pieces like illustrations, but personal art I do tend to rush sometimes, but it's usually because I'm happy with the sketch and I don't need to get more detail in. But if it was to be a commission piece, if I found myself wanting to rush that, I think I'd back away for a moment and get back to it later, because those are the things that I don't want to rush, I think. Alright. Good night, Cherry. I hope you rest well. Orc is an eldritch being. My disappointed face only affects them on a blue moon. Huh. Fair enough. I'll take that. I like to work fast. Yeah, I saw that when I was last in your stream. Walk out here finishing 2 illustrations. Yeah, no, even just as a kid, when I started drawing, it was very immediately clear to me that I did not want to spend days on something. I want to get ideas out quickly, I want them to look good when they're done quickly, and I don't know. I have done, like, photorealistic art before, like portrait painting, still lives, all that stuff in school. So I do know that if I was to spend more time on something, I would know what to do and how to make things look even better. But for me, it's less about making things look even better and more so to convey a specific emotion in a drawing, because I very much enjoy especially getting an idea out there. So especially for a concept artist, working faster, not harder, is usually a better route to go, but I know that that wouldn't apply for every type of artist, and I by no means like discrediting artists who like take weeks to finish an artwork. Fuck, I have shit ton of respect for those people, but I myself know that it isn't quite the way that I would want to treat art. Because I like to just be able to share things, and in most cases at least, I prefer to spend less time on a drawing. to just get the idea out there rather than perfecting the idea, which is what longer process usually evolves around. I think the longest I've ever sat on a like genuine render was probably around 7 or 8 hours. Auckland said they were shocked by my patience, and I had to explain that most people can't just churn out a full painted illustration in 5 hours. Oh, actually, that statement of previously the 7 hour thing was not technically true. There were things that I was very much happy to work on for longer. One of which was that sketch, the height chart. I remember posting it on Twitter. But just sometimes there are a few projects which technically work for me because it more so felt like a bunch of small drawings rather than one big thing that I continuously stick to. Like every now and then I very rarely, but still sometimes I do have the motivation to like invest maybe 3 days or so into a project that I just am really invested into. Although it doesn't happen too often that I have that investment, but it does sometimes happen. Also, I absolutely did not bite my tongue, and it is absolutely not hurting right now. God damn it. They look a little bit like a wasp, don't they? The quarry's monsters? I don't think that is familiar to me. What is that? If you want to elaborate. The Quarry is a horror game. Same developers as Until Dawn. You can look it up if you want. I'll probably have to look it up later if I do, so don't get too distracted again. Good night, V. Rest well. Humans are weird, aren't they? Alright, let me look over this a bit differently. If you haven't watched The Owl House yet, you should watch that. If you haven't finished the newest season of Stranger Things yet, you should watch that. Let me think. But I do recall Lost in Space being also a pretty alright show to watch, though it's not necessarily the, like, series, as in it's not my favorite, but I still would say it is worth a watch if you're really looking for just anything and feel like you've already gone through everything. Let me think. Can't think of anything else. Hey, maybe watch all the Barbie movies, you know? With how short they usually are, they should fit into, you know, like a series format. Just kidnap a bunch of friends, sit down, watch all the Barbie movies, you know? Seems like my Friday night, you know? I don't know what that implies, but thank you, Hannah. I'm just trying to keep track of the chat, but I think I already lost track of it. Alright, never mind. God damn it. That's another one done. Let me quickly. Why can't I donate? It's because I don't think I've enabled the donation option for the stream. Do you ever have trouble choosing music for your speedrun videos due to copyright? I would if I thought about copyright, which I don't. I just pick a song that I like and I go with it, and if they put a copyright strike on it, that's just how it is. Because I don't get paid by YouTube, so why should I abide by YouTube's laws, you know? Let me quickly upload the attack by the side. Let me see. Here we go. How is everybody keeping up so far? This is my 10th attack. I'd like to think I'm on a pretty good run so far. Glad you're doing good, Hannah. Let me stretch and think about what I'm gonna do next. Boy, oh boy. Let me see. Drawing with you. Aww. Hannah, you should show what you're working on. Or at least send me. I want to see. While I look for the next character to attack. Ooh. Another attack uploaded, very fun. Thank you, Walt. It's very good. I'll just let you explain it, because how does anybody have the idea, the energy to explain things that many times? Let me see. And now the most painful part of it all. Picking another fucking character. This one I do kind of like. What's my battle ratio? I want to see how, just in spite of my productivity, it does not matter because I'm beat every time. Let me see, what do the statistics say? Alright, I'm at a solid 21% battle ratio with 526 points. This is not a fair game. I'm never gonna get past the, like, 20% battle ratio. Oh god. Alright, let me see. Let me see what characters they have. Thank you, Hannah. Very nice quote. Let me see. There's some cute characters here. Okay, yep, I'll go with that. You know, it's a good character when the first word in their description is creature. Let me see, what's the description for this one? They're a very nice individual that can get snarky. Alright. Do they... Oh, they have green eyes, it looks like. Thank you, Hannah. Trying to look back and forth a little bit. Hannah, the trick is to instead accept that line art is never, probably ever gonna be perfect, so you just break it down to the very much simplistic shapes and call it a day. It's called sketching. You ever heard of it? I don't think it's actually impossible for you, Hannah. I think that you're very much capable of sketching in a fast manner. It's just a thing about confidence and practice. But I know the word practice pisses you off, so... Gonna have to see. But you're getting there. What kind of brush do I use for the lighting? I use the exact same brush that I use for everything. So, the previous brush is a little bit further up in the chat if you're looking for that, but it's the same as what I use for everything. I don't change brush much at all for drawing. Okay, stream is working again. But no, I use the same brush for everything. I just change the density and yeah, I mostly just change the density and the softness of the brush, and that's it. I remain using the same brush. I don't tend to hold on to those settings too much. How many attacks do you think you'll do tonight? I think this might be my last one for the evening, because it's nearing 3 AM, and I'd like to think that 3 attacks in one evening are already pretty good. I am a little bit tired today, and I did hold off my productivity all day, so it's not even like I woke up late or anything. So I'm afraid I can't do more than the 3 that I did today. I might end up doing at least a few more, like maybe 1 or 2, but if I do those are I'm probably gonna be doing outside of the stream, because that way there's a little less time losing possibility. And they'd be a bit smaller anyways. I think I'm gonna dip now, feeling knackered. Love all the art, and I'm happy to I caught a stream. Hope you all have a good day. Good night. A bit soon. Also, thank you, Sleepy Zombie. And thank you, Joe, or Jew. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to pronounce that. I think, however, that I'm happy with this one. There we go. And that is my final one for today. If anybody wants to say anything else, they're free to throw it out there while I just upload this quickly by the side. There we go. Go beat him, Artfight link. What? What do you mean go beat him? Fucking mean, rude, impolite. Cyberbullying at its best. Thank you, Sleepy. Very sweet. I don't regret saying since the start, because each artwork was a masterpiece. Have a good day. Thank you. You're very kind. I'm hoping to at least keep a somewhat good pace with the completion of attacks, but we'll see how far I'll be able to maintain that. Let me see, did I miss something? There we go. Alright, I'm gonna wish everybody a good night, evening, morning, or day, wherever you may be from. And if I have the energy to continue this streak, I'll see perhaps a few of you on the next stream, whenever that'll be. Thank you all for sticking around. And I'm gonna go catch some rest now.